What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. We got Jacob will probably be joining us here shortly. He stepped away for just a second, but we're going to dive into some Packers Colts talk this evening with you guys and gals. I know we got a bunch of people already in the chat. Appreciate y'all jumping on here to hang out this evening as Tim is off for a few days, and of course Emilio probably out running the streets of Maryville this evening. So hopefully everybody's safe out there tonight. Appreciate everybody in the chat following in. Just a shout out. Can't name them all, but we got Dick in the chat. We got Omer. We got AFAM, United Bates, Jordan Taylor. Good to see y'all in here. Got a bunch following in. Mr. Larry in the house. We got Greg in the house. We got Harry Cheese, of course. Always got to have Harry Cheese in the house. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and hit the chat. Well, actually, before we hit the chat, let's do this. Let's give a quick shout out to the sponsors tonight. That's the great folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Just click on the link in the video description here. That will send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. We appreciate them supporting the show. So the news of the night, obviously, we'll kick off with Jordan Love being downgraded, okay? Paul Brettel tweeted this out. Packers announced that Jordan Love has been downgraded to doubtful. They've elevated Sean Clifford from the practice squad. That second part was the most important thing that we were looking for. If Sean Clifford were to not be elevated, I think that worst case scenario, you would have been going in with Malik Willis starting and Jordan Love potentially coming in off the bench limited. I don't think anybody's seen that as a realistic possibility throughout the week. Now that you've got Sean Clifford elevated and Jordan Love has been downgraded to doubtful, my guess is Jordan Love will most likely be inactive tomorrow. Okay. I don't see any scenario where they're going to have three quarterbacks active. I really don't. But downgraded to doubtful obviously means just a 25% chance of playing. So this is no big shocker to anyone. We kind of talked about all week. It seems like LaFleur is listing Jordan as day-to-day. However, we felt like it was a stretch for him to play. Is it absolutely no chance that Jordan plays? They didn't list him as out. They could have very easily just said out. So the doubtful, my guess is probably just a little gamesmanship there, right? Trying to keep the Colts thinking just a touch. And who knows if they're actually taking the cheese or not. But, hey, they may play him type thing, right? I think what you're probably going to see is him inactive tomorrow at game time. And you're going to be rolling with Malik Willis and Sean Clifford. So we've kind of talked about it all week long as far as Malik Willis goes. Really, it's an opportunity with every adversity lies a seed of equal or greater benefit, right? And when you have a situation like this where you have a quarterback who your starting quarterback is out for the game, essentially, we're all kind of leaning in that direction. This is an opportunity for Matt LaFleur to put another notch, another pelt on the wall, if you will, right? To show people, hey, this is how elite of a coach I am. He's got the winning percentage. We've talked about that. He's right there towards the top in NFL history in winning percentage. Many people say, well, that's because he had Aaron Rodgers, right? Well, he has a decent year last year with Jordan Love, albeit he only won 9 games. It wasn't like we went out there and won 12, 13 games with Jordan Love. So this is an opportunity for them to see, okay, with a full week prep, if Matt LaFleur could potentially work one of his miracles here, right? What if Malik Willis comes out here and balls out? Wouldn't that be absolutely awesome? I mean, think about what that would do for the team. And also, you're going to see what this team is really made of, too. You're going to see what this defense is made of. You're going to see what the rest of the offense is made of outside of Jordan Love and see if these guys really rally around Malik Willis and around Matt LaFleur and go out and try to get this dub. I think it's going to be a close game. That's the way I see it. I don't like to gamble on Packers games. That's just me personally. Unless 100% I'm going to put the money on Green Bay. Never has there been a situation where I have put money against Green Bay. I've just never done it because it's just a miserable way to fan, right? But as far as tomorrow, if you were to make me choose, hey, Clayton, do you think Green Bay wins this game? If I had to put money on it, I'm probably leaning toward it would take me catching 4 or 5 points for Green Bay to take the spread. Now, anything can happen on any given Sunday, right? We've talked about some of the matchups. We're going to continue to talk about some of the matchups. Everyone, the common theme is lean on the run, lean on the run, lean on the run. We just need to run the damn ball. Guys, it's not that simple. I wish it was. Yes, you're going to press into the run and try to make it work. But if they load the box, if you put 8-9 guys in that box and you're just gaining, 1.5, 2 yards to carry them punting, are you still going to be screaming, just run the ball, right? It's going to come down to how do the Colts approach this? And obviously we've talked about Gus Bradley. He comes from the Pete Carroll cover 3 tree. That's what they like to run, or at least they have historically. They like to get pressure with a 4-man rush. They like to do these pick stunts that Coach LaFleur talked about, all those things, right? If they do load the box, you're going to have to pass it. And listen, don't be scared to pass it. I like what Adam Stenavich said. Yeah, man, if they come in here and load the box, sure, we'll throw the ball down the field, right? Again, if you're okay as a fan losing the game 21-3 because you ran the ball 45 times and averaged 2.8 yards a carry, cool, more power to you. I'm just not that kind of fan. Every quarterback in the NFL is capable of making NFL-level throws, or they wouldn't be in the NFL. The question is, what kind of game plan do you put around them? How prepared is your coaching staff? How prepared are the players that you're putting around him to make those plays? I'm not saying you come out there and you run, trips left dagger every time they show a single high look. That's not going to be the approach. But what you are going to probably work, a little RPO underneath. If Malik Willis has the hand-eye coordination to do it, you're going to be running some zone read. You're going to be getting some jet motion going with Jaden Reed. Hopefully he plays. He was listed as questionable last we heard. That's how you're going to get them off tilt. Jet motion going one way, sidecar inside zone or outside zone going opposite direction, play action boot off of that. Even when you're in the shotgun, you can still run a little boot action off of it. So I think that's the way to approach this game, and we're going to get into some more of the X's and O's, the tendencies, all that good stuff. But Jacob's back in the captain's seat again here. Jacob, bro, what do you think about this game? And obviously Malik Willis, I think we're all but positive he's going to be your start quarterback. How do you think this one may shake out here,
man? To be 100%, I don't quite understand what's going to happen. I don't have any real indication, to be honest. I have all the faith in Malik Willis to at least come out and be presentable, if that's a good term. I thought something while you were talking was great to reiterate, is talking about how, we just got to run Jacobs. If you guys remember, Jacobs didn't turn on until the second half of that game. And the second half of that game is basically when they realized we didn't have a chance. Like, I shouldn't say have a chance, but it was much harder to make a comeback if you're the Packers in that game. So clearly they're going to allow a little bit more hesitance in stopping Josh Jacobs. Why would you? That's not your focal point, right? They're trying to make sure that they don't make some sort of comeback. So I agree with you, Clayton. I don't think we're going to sit there and run Josh Jacobs 45 times, and the Colts are just going to be like, oh, darn, what are we going to do?
Got us.
What I know. And Richardson, there's a lot of skeptics out there about what he can do. I tell you what, the guy can throw an air yard ball like 70 yards while he's crouching down. So at any point, you have to be vigilant of that, be aware of that. I don't know what Malik Willis is really going to be able to do, how much into the bag Matt LaFleur is going to be able to dive into. Mm-hmm. That being said, I look for the short routes, the tight end routes, the running backs being a big contributor. Hopefully the Jets motion, that sweep, whatever we want to do there, could maybe trip them up a little bit. Like you talked about, it's horrible that Reed is not possibly going to be in the mix for this game, but we have enough playmakers that I'm not too worried about it. And I see Tucker Kraft, like Omer highlighted there. I see Kraft maybe having a real big day. We've talked about how sometimes a lot of checkdowns, if you're a new quarterback in the league, or even one that has to come in for filler time, tight end's your best friend. So use that for sure.
Yeah, run a little spot too, a little spot and divide, and get some of this stuff kind of separation underneath. When you run the play action, and again, Willis has got to sell it. There is something to be said for quarterbacks who are really good at selling that play fake. Or else, if the linebackers aren't going to bite, if they're not going to be convinced, hey, they might run the ball right here because the play fake is half-assed, then they're not going to leave their spots. They're going to stay in their zones, right? And it's my understanding they do play a lot of zone there. I'm going to try to look at their tendency here in a minute. I'm pretty sure they play more zone than man, compared to the rest of the league. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, man, because as long as you make them fear the pass enough that they don't load the box on you, then you can, stick with the run. If it's there, stick with it. Absolutely. I get what people are saying, but it ain't going to be as simple as, all right, we're just going to play back. Like this comment right here from Omer, run the ball. They gave up 200 plus last week, and they'll give up 200 plus again. Use Wilson to his ball last week. Talking about his average last week, 11.5 a carry. Here's the thing, Omer. What quarterback were they playing last week? You remember? C.J. Stroud. Dude was an MVP candidate as a rookie. Every week is a different ball game. It's a different game planning session. You got different what we call Tuesday players. Like last week when they were prepping for the Texans, guarantee you, Stroud is that Tuesday player. Where's his throw chart showing? What does he feel comfortable running out of? When he goes play fake, what are the play fake percentages in terms of play fake and still passing out of which formations? Okay, let's really key in on play and pass coverage in those specific formations, knowing he's probably just trying to sell us a little sugar on the play fake. The other thing, too, that they did, they tried to get pressure with 4. That's how they approach that game. When you try to get just pressure with 4 and everyone else is playing back and you're concerned about the pass, that opens up for the run game. When you look at Philly and how in the second half things opened up in the run game for both Emmanuel Wilson and Josh Jacobs, what happened? After halftime, both teams adjusted, and now the run started to be there. The run blocking got better. You could see the receivers start to run block a little bit better on those explosives and digging out the safeties, right? You see Jaden Reed on a couple of times. He got in there with the hog mollies doing some chipping. So it's not as simple as just, all right, they gave a bunch of yards last week. Let's go run the ball this week. I hope that the approach they take and the formations we show and the leverage that we show and the jet motion we show loosens things up to where we can lean on the run and Malik Willis only has to throw 15, 20 passes. I hope that's the case. But if they load the box, Stenovich said it, man, we're going to throw the rock. We're going to throw the rock, period. So it's all going to come down to, again, like we always talk about, the first quarter, you're getting kind of your openers out there. Okay, what are they doing? The second and third quarter is simply adjusting. You're adjusting to what they showed you in the first quarter, and in the fourth quarter, lock it clean. This is Bill Belichick 101. Walk the slate clean. The fourth quarter is a standalone game. Right. So that's it's going to come down to what they want to take away and what they want to do for sure.
Have you seen anything in the media coverage or any of the clips that you get to see that I personally, when I watched, I haven't got to see a lot of stuff on last week. I've been kind of out of the loop, but when I watched a few of the Malik Willis interviews, he doesn't seem, again, he seems like a Packer. He seems like a guy that's just level-headed, very orientated on what his job is. No nonsense kind of person. I believe the question was made from Spoon or somebody's like, what's the mentality like? How have you been diving into the playbook? And he's like, immediately from day one, all day, every day. And I love that kind of mindset that he has. That being said, do you think that there are certain plays, certain calls, certain throws that they are saying we don't trust him to make, don't do them? Or do you think they're going to let him be more of an improviser out there? Or do they want him to be a structured, like, don't lose this game for us quarterback? Does that make sense what I'm trying to ask? Are they going to let him be more of a playmaker? Or do they want him to just actually these are the 20 plays we got. These are the 20 plays we know that you can run. Maybe some different concepts off of those, but what do you see in that aspect?
When you break it down specifically, I can't imagine that Matt LaFleur's coaches got together and said, okay, he doesn't throw the 10-yard out route well. He doesn't throw the 7-yard crosser well. I can't imagine they approached it that way. What their main focus is, he's got 19 days now within the system, if I remember correctly. Their number one focus, let's water this down to where the mental mistakes are at a minimum. I think that was their top priority this week, me personally. Now, as far as the running game, I think most things are on the table, but you've also got to take into consideration when we see some of those pop passes, some of those jet sweeps and things like that, the touch passes and stuff, you guys realize the timing on those plays? Like when the ball is snapped to the quarterback's hand and the receiver is damn near, 3/4 full speed sprint and the ball comes right by him and it's just a quick touch. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff, sometimes you're splitting hairs. We take it for granted when the starting quarterback's healthy. Like, oh, well, if they bobble a snap, we're all on them. Like, what are you doing? You can't even take a snap. It's a lot more difficult than that. So you got to get the timing down with the snap count with Josh Myers. It was revealed earlier this week, to the best of my knowledge, Jordan Love has been handling the pass protection setup. Myers has been handling the run blocking scheme setup. That might be why we struggle with run blocking, but that's a story for a different day. So now what Myers has got to do is now Myers has to handle both. I'm just saying. You guys remember the bad snaps, the false starts.
Okay, I haven't been able to be on with you since basically that game, other than the post-game show, and we were just kind of peeing in the wind, for better lack of knowledge there. I was so disappointed when I watched Josh Myers again. Am I wrong in certain like every now and then? Again, you'd see Josh Myers for one play, and you're like, "Oh yes, that's why he's an early draft pick and a freak of nature." And then all of a sudden, you'd watch him not block anybody and just whiff and turn around and be like, "What happened?" And like, what do you? Is this
Josh Myers? It's real simple. Last week, 0 blown blocks in pass blocking. But run blocking, still struggling. You've seen him get to the second level, and that's why he was a high draft pick. He has rare size and athleticism to get to the second level. You see him get out in front, whether it's a duo or some kind of power with the center pulling two. He gets out in front, and it's like, look at that dude. He runs like a tight end. And then he gets to the point of blocking, and he just whiffs. And it's Mike Wall 101, what Mike Wall always say. How you arrive at confrontation determines how you handle confrontation. If you arrive at confrontation and you don't have good body control, you're not going to be able to square up, set your feet, get a good lock in, and block. It's just not going to happen.
I believe it was one of those late downs of like 1 or 2 yards. And that was the clip I remember seeing is Josh Myers making a great initial block, going to the second level, standing there with no one, or watching the linebacker just completely whiff past him and making a stop for either a negative yardage or a stop on the play. And
there was one specific play where he went to pin down inside, and I think he turned left, and he ended up blocking one of our offensive linemen. He just for getting another block. So
he was like, "Oh shoot!"
And I don't want to pile on, but if you see it, you got to say it. That's been the thing, And now here's the thing, though. Like I said, Packers, they put a lot of value on pass blocking. I think there's a decent chance Josh Myers returns next year if he doesn't try to break the bank. The problem with that is there's going to be other people with those that had those measurements on their draft board. They're going to be looking at it from a sense of, hey, look, we had this guy's a second-round talent. If he walks into free agency, they might be able to outbid the Packers in free agency to go get Josh Myers, right? And who knows, they might get more out of him, Coach Lynn says pass blocking is more important. Still wish he was more consistent. Absolutely. And it's obvious the Packers think pass blocking is more important too, because that's where you see across their line, that's what they're good at. That's where they're, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it, right? Coach Lynn, I know he knows exactly what that means. You're either coaching something or you're allowing something to happen. I guarantee you they're coaching up pass blocking. Guarantee it. And I'm not saying they're not coaching up run blocking, but the emphasis is on pass blocking, no doubt. And when they draft, the emphasis is on pass blocking, too.
Do you think this is a fair statement, then, from Affam? Why are we blaming Josh Myers? We should be blaming Goot.
See, that's the thing.
What I read from that is like you're trying to throw a square peg through a round hole. Does that make sense? I understand maybe if that's his argument, but at the same time.
The biggest comment, I guess, I have for that statement there, and this goes for any position on the field. I'm not saying I agree with this philosophy, but Goot is not the only one that has this philosophy. It's common across the entire league. They tend to spend their early picks, first, second, third rounders, mainly first and second rounders, they be in the NFL, on those highly athletic guys, those high upside guys, your Quay Walkers, your Edgerrin Coopers, people like that, right? Devontae White had a high RAS as well. That's typically, they're like, okay, let's go get those guys first. And that's why some of those end up missing, in my opinion. Look at Darnell Savage. He's a perfect example. That dude was a dog at the combine. He was a dog, had a 9.95 or something. It was something crazy, right? RAS. But again, you swing on those guys because they have the athletic ability to do anything that you need a player to do on the field, right? That doesn't mean they're going to go do it. Now, you've got other players that they deem fallen under a threshold, right, where it's like, okay, we don't think he's as quick at the 40 with the foot speed as there. He is quick at the 10-yard split, the 3-cone, whatever it may be. With an offensive lineman, it might be reach, it might be bench press, it might be explosion grade, whatever it is. They've got a cutoff point where, like, nope, we know their athletic ability isn't to the level that's going to make them a great NFL player. So they just kind of, it's not that they remove them completely from the board, but they're not going to spend a first, second, or third rounder on those type of guys. So the problem with that is you get these athletic freaks. We had Tony Mandarich on the show. If you guys don't know who Tony Mandarich is, it was one of my most enjoyable conversations I've ever had with another human being. I learned so much from Tony Mandarich in that interview because it was a guy that basically said, Clayton, I screwed up every decision in my professional career. And I realize it now. And he was willing to own up to it. And he, being a believer like me and a follower of Christ, hey, it ain't about being perfect. It's about, okay, let's try to fix this moving forward and stop blaming other people. Like I actually gave him the platform, like Tony. Those Packer teams sucked back in the day, man. And you got drafted by them. Don't you think that played a little? He went, no. They gave me every opportunity to succeed. It was all, I thought I knew everything. And, right. And it's a mindset, man. It takes players, not just athletic ability. And where I was going with that is Tony Mandarich told me, he said, and I can't remember if it was off the air or on the air. He said, I studied that combine and I knew exactly how to ace it. And that's what he did. He aced the combine, got drafted, and he wasn't willing to put the work in early to be a good offensive lineman. Later on in his career, people don't even know this. He went on to play for Indianapolis. He's a pretty good offensive lineman. So just growing as a human being, as a player. But
yeah, I that was my favorite interview that I've ever watched, to be honest with you, which I'm not trying to fluff you or anything. It was supposed to be like a 10-15 minute interview, and it turned into, if I'm not mistaken, like a 45 to an hour. And he went into so many things that I had never even thought we would get into, that you would get into with him. And I mean, legitimately changed my outlook on him. And like you talked about, people don't, it's so, in most cases, they see you glittering and shimmering, and he failed while he was the first round pick. Like you talked about, he went on to have a great NFL career. Right. I would call it a great NFL career, because if you last in NFL more than a year, you're an NFL
business
player.
owner now too.
Yeah.
Successful business. And Nick Saban coached him at Michigan State. Nick Saban said to this day, the best offensive lineman he's ever coached. Right. I mean, he's got high praises all around. The big thing about Tony is he realized where his shortcomings were, and he just owned it. And he's not willing to blame anybody. It was a great guy. I came away a better person after talking to him. And the reason we didn't do it live, and this is a little bit of that entrepreneur in me, was like, I'm not doing this live because I'm telling you right now, if somebody gets in this chat and tries to act like a tough guy and call him a bus and this and that behind their little computer screens, behind their little phones, they will be banned from the channel so damn quick. Because this was a man that was opening up and saying, hey, look, here's what I screwed up in my life. And I don't care what you've done. If you have wronged every human being you've ever came across, right, and you're in approaching life, but one day you realize, you know what, I messed up and I need to change, then from my faith, you're supposed to allow that change. You're supposed to give that forgiveness. And this is the way I always put it back. I don't mean to get spiritual, but I don't care. It's my podcast. I'll talk about what I want to talk about. If he was willing to forgive a man dying on a cross for being a murderer, I think some of this stuff that people have done to piss me off kind of falls under, we should forgive them too. Yeah. That's just the way I see it. So anyway, that's my little soapbox. But let's get back to the chat here. Jordan Taylor says, this is Tupac LaFleur's chance to shine as a plague. I love that Tupac LaFleur actually took off. That's what I'm saying, Jordan. Like this is the chance for I about to say Tupac, for Matt LaFleur to go out there and show guys, look, no, I know how to scheme up an offense. And again, Malik isn't a quarterback who doesn't have arm talent. He has arm talent. He's been with 4 different coordinators already in his short career. This dude has been ran through the ringer. And I don't know if you guys heard him snap at the reporters in the locker room the other day. Yeah. I loved it because and they go on the defensive like, well, we're not out here to hurt you and this. And listen, bro, he has been ran through the ringer. He is and nobody's going, oh, sucks for you, man. Malik, you just got a bad shake. Nobody cares about that. You know, Wildy said it the other day. He said it really well. He said, if you had put Jordan Love in Malik Willis's spot in Tennessee, he would have failed too. I believe that. I believe that with everything in me. Because that first year or two, Jordan Love was not good. We heard the reports. And he had to have time to really learn and soak it in. And people don't want to give credit, but he had to learn from one of the best in Aaron Rodgers, the same way Aaron learned from Brett, albeit Brett was a little more standoffish than Aaron was as far as coaching up Jordan. And you know, so sometimes it's exactly what Mike McCarthy said. And I love Coach Mike McCarthy. To me, he's a Hall of Famer. That's just my opinion. He said, there's no such thing as bad players in this league. There's good players and there's great players. And many times the difference between a good player and a great player is the position you put them in, the situation you put them in. Who's coaching them? Who's training them? Who's bringing them along in their development? Who are the players around them? You know, like with a quarterback, are they actually getting protected? You know, Zach Wilson, we don't know what Zach Wilson would have been if he had been put in Jordan Love's position and Jordan Love had been thrown to the fire with the New York Jets. Do you think Jordan Love would be the quarterback he is today? I don't. I think he would have gotten beat all to hell just like Zach Wilson did. So
I think that's a great point. And what you can see is actually you've watched a number of quarterbacks move on to different teams that have a different situation. I mean, I'm not going to pump any love to Justin Fields, but he's moved on. A team knows how to utilize his talents better with their situation. You look at what you just talked about, Zach Wilson. He might go over to Denver. Who knows what's going to happen over there? You look at guys that were in the Jets organization. You look at just the fact that maybe Malik Willis comes over to us. And like you just talked about the impact a certain coach can have. Tom Clements has a control of him now. Even if it's a 3 weeks, dude. Tom Clements just grabbed this young man who probably was just been flying in the wind. Do you just talk about that? He had like 4 different coordinators, 4 different, sorts. This guy has no idea who the heck is trying to hold his hand and take him the right way. All of a sudden you find a guy that's like, dude, we're going to just chill everything down. This is how you be an NFL quarterback. This is the footwork. These are the dropbacks. These are the angles you take. These are the reads you make. Here are the talented players. Now, all you got to do is get in sync with them. And I swear that it's going to be more than him just being thrown in the wolves like you talked about. Just be like, well, we got ourselves a first or a second round quarterback. Put him out there. He's ready to play. I'm sorry. It usually, unless you are the top of the top, it doesn't work. And there's a lot of middle ground there where I swear, like you just said, if they were just groomed a bit and not like groomed in the way that some people want to do them. I'm saying groomed in a way where it just is makes sense. Let them sit, let them watch, let them develop, let them learn tendencies, let them get away from bad tendencies. Like this is,
and Peyton Manning started his rookie year. He set the NFL's record in interceptions.
That's right.
Like, you know how many people that if he had been the quarterback of their team that year, they'd be like, "Oh, this guy's a bust. Get him out of here." Right? Now they did it the hard way, and guess what? His coach Jim Moore. Remember the playoffs? That's where it came from, right? And he would dog Peyton in the media. Next thing you know, he's gone, and who comes in? When Tony Dungy steps in, and all of a sudden, Peyton settles in. You've got a good developmental program. All right, you got a leader on defense as a head coach. Peyton's going to head up the offense. It was a perfect marriage. Again, there are no such thing as bad players in the league. There are good players and great players. And the difference
it's basically like the old adage that I think is so prevalent in NFL is one man's trash is another man's treasure. Because it just depends to me, like you were just talking about, Clayton, is my NFL scheme or my offensive scheme, my defensive scheme is fit for this certain person. How many times did that NFL coach or that organization have that drafted it, brought it up? A lot of times that's not the case. They get inherited when they get, I'm just saying.
It's a great point, man. I'm trying to pull up this tweet I had. It's going to go really, really well with something that someone just said here in the comments. Let me go back. God, I tweet too much. I love football. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm a dork like this. I just love it. All right, so I'm going to show you guys something here real quick. Ben Holden said, tight end screen pass, run Jacobs up the middle, read on the jet sweep. Think about what he just said. You run a screen pass or two, whether it be the tight end, the halfback, or what have you. You're going to get the linebackers thinking about that. All right, we got to freeze. You got to freeze. You got to read. When you see the O-line, engage, let loose, now you've got to make sure you're not getting too aggressive upfield, right? And to prevent those explosives that we talk about. Tight end screen pass, lock it. Run Jacobs up the middle. By running up the middle, those linebackers have to meet their run fit. So they're thinking attack, right? Tora. And then you got Jaden Reed on the jet sweep. As soon as you show them you're willing to do it once, which, by the way, they watch the Eagles tape. They know we're willing to do it. We got our finger on the trigger with the jet sweep. So any jet motion you show, they've got to respect that. So you're creating hesitation from 3 different levels. Now, we don't run a whole lot of tight end screens, but I'm with you, Ben. I don't think that's a bad idea. Now, think about this. Play action, and you get those backers to buy it, right? Watch this play right here. I'm just going to show it. It's so simple. This was the 29-yarder from Tucker Kraft, all right? And, again, watch this play. As we set it up, you're in basically dub nasty, all right? No, you're not in dub nasty. You start off in bunch nasty X, right? And you're going to shift. You're going to cheat motion to dub nasty. So now you're in dub nasty. What that means is 2x2. Everybody, all the wide receiver splits are inside the numbers. Watch Tucker Kraft right here. You're going to see a shallow drag. Watch the play fake from Jordan Love. Watch the backers through the play fake. Clayton, you just told us to watch 3 things. Focus on this first. Watch the backers on the play fake. See them? Now look at Tucker. Tucker's still kind of selling he's going to run block there, but watch. Bang. Look at that. He hit almost 19 miles an hour. I think the official number is like 18.8 mile an hour right there. And look at Jaden Reed out here. No block, no rock. Look at my boy. So, again, that's the type of play we're talking about. Get on the bottom of the play fake and then hammer at that. That's a throw Malik Willis can make. That's what cracks me. People are like, oh, he's not a good quarterback. He's not an accurate quarterback. He can make this throw. Every high school quarterback can make that throw.
Hopefully, yeah.
Bang.
And is it fair to say, I mean, I expect – we've talked about it, I know, previously, and I've been on the Tucker Kraft. He just seems like he is going to develop into our number 1 tight end.
Absolutely.
I mean, just everything about him. He doesn't seem like anything about it is too heavy for him. The yak, the hands, the route running now we're seeing from him.
Run blocking.
And the fact that you just talked about the dude's almost hitting 20 miles an hour, being 6'6" and 240, whatever heck he is. To be honest, I never thought that he would actually ascend to the point where he is now. He may be the best undercover weapon that we have on this offense, which is saying a lot because we have 6 or 7. You could legitimately say this is the number 1 threat on this offense. That's crazy.
Yeah. AFAM said maybe he's actually more accurate. Here's the thing. We talk as if like Jordan Love last week was just this 75% completion. No, we were right around 50%. We were under 50% most of the game, if I remember correctly. So it's not like he's got to go out there and complete 80% of his passes for us to win this game. There's a lot of talent around him. The key is going to be protecting that football and controlling the mental mistakes. And the other thing is you can't let their defense, you can't let Buckner tee off on us because we've got to milk down the whole snap count. You know what I'm saying? Like the snap, you've got to have 3, maybe 4 snap counts that everyone on the line is comfortable with, right? And hopefully that's that. I would say they spent more time on that than just about anything all week. Because if you can get 2 or 3, maybe 4 different snap counts, changing the voice inflection and keeping that defense from teeing off, that's going to give you the time, the space you need to be able to throw the football. I'm not saying he's going to go out there like Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love and try to draw them off sides for the free plays, right? That's on down the line, obviously. So, but yeah, he could be AFAM. You know, he comes out and he completes 55% of his passes, and he doesn't turn the ball over. We create a couple turnovers on defense with Anthony Richardson. It's possible. I'm telling you, man. He's a player he's going to take chances, and we'll talk about some of his play charts here in a second. So, but yeah, let's see. I'm not saying he's going to be more accurate, AFAM, but I understand where you're coming from, man. You never know, right? There's a reason that at one point everybody was considering him as a first-round pick. I know he fell to the 3rd, but Ben Holden said the tight end screen pass, we already hit that one. Let's see. Ron Sample says with their secondary, it would really take balls to load the box. It's a great point, Ron. It's not like they're absolutely loaded in the secondary. They're the farthest thing from it. So, again, if they do go to loading the box, if they don't load the box and they just got 6 in the box, whatever it is, maybe even 7, let's try to establish a run. When they do bring them down, let's take advantage of those one-on-one matchups for sure. You're probably going to have to tone back the choice routes. And that's what sucks. That's the bittersweet part about this, Jacob, is because, like, early on, the receivers had to catch up on the choice routes. The choice routes, The reason you get so many miscommunications, you've seen it last week with Luke Musgrave and the interception with Jordan, right? Now, you guys know my stance on that. I think just like Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer, said. You could see Luke Musgrave looking back. He was hot. He knew he was going to be hot on that read because of the blitz that fired right there on his side of the ball, or on his side of the field. But if there was a choice route involved that he was supposed to flatten it or take it a little bit different, I think the choice is off the table once you go hot. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, there was a miscommunication there with him and Jordan. He throws the pick, right? So with the choice routes, Matt may have to go into this game and go, hey, guys, listen, I about said a really bad word, man. I'm way too fired up for football tomorrow. Screw the choice routes. Everybody just let's play this clean, run the route that the combination calls for. It's that simple, right? That way you're reducing the mental mistakes that maybe Malik Willis would make or even the receivers may make. And again, there's little things. There's so many details of this, and I'm sure Coach Lynn could probably attest to it. I don't know if they approach it as detailed as this at the level that you're coaching, Coach, but like they talk about Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford being on the same page. People think that means, they throw a lot of balls in practice. No. There are certain things that Cooper Kupp does with his body to signal to Matt Stafford that he's going to run a specific route, meaning he may dip his inside shoulder when he's going to run a corner route where the choice calls for a corner flat combo or a corner out combo, right? There's all those little things. So you're losing that edge from an offensive standpoint, but at the same time, you would rather lose that edge from an offensive standpoint and reduce the opportunities to throw an interception on miscommunication. So
I was going to say, man, while you were talking about that, remember we had years of this, which is really crazy to talk about now. And I hate reiterating Rodgers, but the moments where you'd watch him walk up to the line, he'd look with that freaking stare at Adams, and he'd go, and they'd go, "Yup," and there was nothing else. There was nothing else than that, and it was like, how do you do that? And then all of a sudden he'd break off a route like you said, maybe a post, maybe break off like a dig, whatever it was, sideline route, and it would be pinpoint. And you just look at them and like, wow, is there voodoo involved? Like, are you actually summoning devils? What is happening? How do you understand each other?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like with Jordy, they had that back shoulder throw down.
Yep.
They had it down, and that wasn't something that in the huddle, hey, go run that back shoulder. I'm sure that happened from time to time, but most of the time it was come to the line. We talked about this. Look at the Sam or the mock Sam, which is the mock and a nickel. Where's the Sam line? Where's the field or where's the boundary safety? Got it. You see, all right, we're good. Run that back shoulder throw. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to worry about underneath outside technique from the DB if you know where the safety is going to be. The DB, unless you're Jair Alexander and you just want to freelance, they have to play over the top in that situation, right? And that's.
But do you remember? Like, I just remember Rodgers walking up and you'd see him. They'd focus in and you just go,
"Oh, dude, he's awesome." My favorite story is them talking about Davante Adams, and I can't remember who it was that said it, but they said when we realized Davante Adams was the guy. Aaron Rodgers came out. They ran a play. It was a back shoulder throw. He threw it to Davante Adams. It was incomplete. They said Davante came back to the huddle. Before Aaron could call the play, Davante Adams said, run the same play and this time throw a better ball. They said Aaron was like, and here's the thing. Everybody's like, Aaron's egotistical. Aaron's an ass. No, you know what Aaron did? That's what I'm looking for in a receiver. Let's go. This dude gets it. He knows what he's doing. You're looking, everybody's looking to him to be a leader. And really, those leaders in those moments are like, I wish a couple people would rise up to the occasion. My God. Like Jordy did it. Jordy did it in a very quiet way. Jennings tried to do it, but it was all about Jennings. He got his butt ran out of town. And he's still talking about it to this day. Man, but yeah. Anyway, I can't believe we're already 40 minutes in. This is wild. Let's hit one more here. Samble said this with their secondary. Yeah, we already hit that one, right? So let me go to one more comment, and then we'll move on to hour 2 here. Omer says, yes, it's that simple. They load the box, then Matt will eat them with the receivers. I completely agree. I think they're capable of doing that. I really do. We got dynamic wide receivers. We haven't seen Christian Watson break out yet. That could come. That you may get that secondary sleeping on him. That could happen. This could be the game that it happens. Coach Lynn says LaFleur's offense is quarterback friendly. Willis has a chance to really show out. Hopefully they I guess that might be – I don't think that was continued there. Sorry, Coach Lynn. I missed the second part there, but I agree with what you're saying with LaFleur's offense is quarterback friendly. There's an answer to every play. There's an answer to the equation. The question is, can the quarterback get there? and it is very quarterback friendly because it's real simple. There's 3 different types of reads. We won't go too much into detail with it, but you basically got true progression. You got pick a side. There's some high-low stuff to it too. I actually had a note here about that specifically because Aaron Rodgers, people can't stand to hear him on the McAfee show. But again, if people would learn how to learn, you get some absolute gems out of those type of interviews. I got so many notes here. This is hilarious, man. Let me see if I can find it. I may have put it in a notepad or in a – yeah, here we go. So 3 different types of reads. I wrote this down 2 years ago, by the way. It's still on my desk. It's hilarious. 3 types of reads. Pure progression, which is 1 to 2 to 3, right? And then your check down. Progression with an option, working 3 by 1 to the backside, right? So you're kind of, okay, you've got true progression here, but you do have an option that if you come out in a 3 by 1, if they show a certain look, you can just go straight to the backside. And then pick a side, which you've got a route concept that will beat a 2-high defense on one side of the field and beat a 1-high defense on the other side of the field, right? So those are the 3 type of progressions that you got. If they just go pick a side, that would probably be the easiest thing for Malik Willis to kind of pick up on quicker. But I guarantee you, Matt LaFleur has challenged him and stretched him to go, look, we don't want to water this down too much. We're going to water the playbook down already. Let's don't water down our approach to how we attack defense and stuff. So with that being said, that is the end of hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour 2. Appreciate y'all. All right. Now, let's continue with these comments we got marked, and we got a bunch to get into, guys. I got a bunch of screen grabs and stuff. We're going to be doing pregame show tomorrow, so we won't have time. Coach Lynn says someone's going to pay Myers just like the Giants paid Runyon. Amen. That's exactly what I was trying to get to, Coach. He's got too much athleticism, and it's just like the ladies say, I can change him, right? That's what they're going to be saying. Nova in the chat, good to see you, buddy. Says, just got you guys on. Anyone going to the game from your group? I'm mulling a road trip given the dirt cheap seat prices. Midfield for $85. Boy, go snatch that up, Nova. I'm not going. I know Jacob had tossed around the idea. He had a buddy that had tickets available too. Tim won't be able to make it. So to the best of my knowledge, nobody who does the show will be there. I'm sure we'll have a bunch of listeners. So anybody in the chat that might be going, hit up Nova. Maybe y'all can meet up and grab a daddy soda together. Ron Samble, any news on Quay? Ron, nothing new there in terms of other than the injury report on Quay. He's still listed as questionable, I believe. No, he didn't have a game status, so he should be good to go. That's the way I'm reading that. He was not listed Wednesday, limited Thursday, limited Friday, no status on as of yesterday. I haven't heard any other updates, so Quay should be a go. Again, the only person I think we're going to be without is definitely Jordan Love. There's a chance Jaden Reed and Marshawn Lloyd. If Jaden Reed misses this game, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Packers. There's no 2 ways about it. So he is that dynamic of a football player. But appreciate the question there, Ron. Let's see what else we got here. Omer says, use Quay and Cooper to spy Richardson. 2 different ways you can do that, Omer. You can try to reset the protection on Anthony Richardson by doing that touch spy we talk about. Mug the A-gap, whether it's with Quay or Cooper, they're kind of identical in their build. Mug the A-gap, that will basically occupy one offensive lineman without even bringing pressure there, and then be able to get up on him, get hands, and get back in that shallow. What you can do is take away some checkdowns. It's really easy to read the screen pass from that perspective as a spy. But when you do that touch spy, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Don't come at me, Peter. That's just a saying there, all right? But you're touching that offensive lineman. He thinks I've got to block him because they're hammering the A-gap here. So he's occupied. He's not actually blocking anyone. You get back, you're spying the quarterback, and you can take the shallow crosses away. You can get eyes on the screen pass, all those things, right? They're going to have some designed quarterback runs, too, that we got to keep our eye on as well. I want to say the over-under on Richardson's carries through BetUS was somewhere around 7.5 carries. So just keep that in mind that if I did have that number correctly, I think they're expecting him to just carry the ball maybe 7.5 times. So, and he may blow it out of the water. You guys know how gambling works, but yeah, I like the idea there. The other way we can spy there, though, Omer, is what we did last week with Jalen Hurts using the D tackles, using some TT stunts, and whoever is the first T in the TT stunt, you get over, you occupy that double team, and then you get back and you're playing that shallow spy. Now, as a 300-pound defensive tackle and Anthony Richardson as a ball carrier, you're limited to if he gets outside, you're not going to be able to get to him probably. But you're taking away those interior rush lanes. So if that makes sense.
Can I pose a random question real quick?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Only reason I'm doing this is because Tim's not here, and I know he won't yell at me.
Oh, no.
Coach Len says, do you want to see Quay at will? McDuffie and Hopper need to play more Mike. The reason I led into that is I am about 70-30 to the point where I'm done with Quay Walker.
Ooh,
and I know
good.
that's going to – did you watch? I mean, I'm sure you did. Obviously you did, Clayton. You are, and you can hopefully prove me wrong because I've been, I'm kind of a Monday morning. I don't know film like you do. I don't know the intricacies like you do, but I just keep seeing Quay Walker consistently overrunning plays, missing tackles, not being in the right position. Like you talked about, he was drafted specifically because he was a high athletic player. That was the only reason he was drafted, and people thought that he shouldn't even have went. I mean, there was certain teams that said, yeah, maybe he would get taken in the second or maybe the third, but I don't know.
It surprised the hell out of me when they took him where they did. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, what? They took Quay Walker? I went downstairs and told Mandy, she said, who'd they take? I said, Quay Walker.
That's right.
The country singer? I went, not Quay Walker. What are you talking about? Quay Walker. And then she's like, who's that? I was thinking the same thing I thought. Who was that? But anyway, here's the thing, Jacob. You try to put players in a position to do what they do really well. And here's where I disagree with both of you guys, okay? Both you and Coach. And again, it doesn't mean I'm right and anybody's wrong here. But you put him in a position to do what he does well. What he does well is pass coverage. Guess what? As a Mike, if you were in a normal 4-3 defense, you're that gap destroyer. The problem is we're only in a 4-3 defense about 15, 20% of the time. When you're in nickel, the Mike becomes the pass cover guy for the most part down the seam. He's going to be that guy that's going to cover the tight end down the seam. He's going to cover the two down the seam from time to time as well. If you come out and they catch you in a nickel look and they go two wide receivers to the left and your tight end or whatever to the right, depends on the play call from the defensive coordinator where you want the Mike to be, but most of the time the Mike will carry the 2 or the 3, especially like that interception, Jacob. And this is where I disagree with you. The interception that McKinney made, it does not happen without Quay Walker. McDuffie would not be able to carry that receiver down the seam.
Go deeper on that. Why is that?
So we were in a Tampa 2 defense. In a Tampa 2, it's basically zone across the bottom, right? And you've got, I think there's 5 zones underneath. And, well, there would be 5 if the 2 or the 3, talking about the receiver, doesn't attack the seam. That means the Mike would stay down too. So here's what happened. 2 high shell, they're responsible for half the field, right? But in a Tampa 2, that Mike carries the 2 or the 3 down the seam. Dude, if you go watch that play, Quay Walker was stride for stride with the wide receiver down the seam. And they tried to, he literally waited, he tried to get it in there, and that's what allowed McDuffie to McKinney to come over and make the interception. Again, now I'm telling you what Quay did well. What you pointed out is 100% true. His run fits suck. They're horrible. And people were trying to blame Kenny for that one run fit and this and that. And it's like, yes, Kenny may have messed up his run fit. Without us being in the meeting room, we don't know that for sure. And if a former NFL player said that he did, I trust them. They're probably right. Here's the problem. The run fit didn't have a damn thing to do with Quay getting danced out of his shoes in the hole.
Yeah.
It was ugly. He got broke down like a shotgun. It was so bad. And again, so what does he do well? Pass coverage. He's really good at pass coverage. What does he not do well? The run fits. So in my opinion, if we were playing a lot of 4-3, and let's put it this way, 4-3 base, put him at the wheel. Completely agree.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to just usually I try to wait for a break. Coach Len always, you guys are pretty much on the same freaking vibe right now. He goes, Quay can still drop. He can use his coverage skills at will. And it's funny. And then exactly. And he goes, Walker blew those lane covers, but the run game, Barkley cooked. We have great listeners, man. They know what the heck they're talking about, dude.
Yeah.
It's really good, man. And guys are saying, he's not a middle. Maybe we need to utilize his talents a little bit different, but he is a freaky talented guy. I just wish that we knew how to put him in a position where he would utilize those talents to the
what
best.
I'm saying is if you put him in the wheel, in the nickel, then guess what? What you're saying is, let me do it this way. levels. Let's do it this way. This is the Pete Carroll. This is how the linebackers approach. Drop that comment down just a second here.
Yep.
Mike, middle linebacker, captain of the unit, and gap destroyer against the run, key, read defender, both pre-snap and at the heart of zone coverages. Okay, heart of zone coverages, does it well. Again, this is your base defense. This isn't nickel. Sam, strong side linebacker that usually matches up with the tight end in the passing game or the deep hook zone. Assigned gap defender against a run that may also blitz on occasion. He's kind of your hybrid, right? And this was the foundation of Pete Carroll's defense. It's outdated now, but this was how they built the linebackers. Will, the most athletic player in the group, is generally the weak side linebacker, known for his elite open field tackling on cutbacks. That does not sound like Quay. I mean, we've seen him get danced out of the A-gap, for God's sakes. And his zone coverage ability in the flats. How often have you seen Quay make a play in zone coverage in the flats? It doesn't happen. Where's his strength? Down the seam. You remember, look at it this way. And this is where you watch enough football, and it's embarrassing to say, but these things come back to you from multiple years back. Do you remember the interception he had, the pick six he had against Chicago last year, week 1? I remember it like yesterday. We were in cover 4, country quarter spot drop. Quay was covering the seam, picked it off, took it for 6.
Yeah.
Week 1 against the Eagles this year, Tampa 2, Quay's covering the seam, forced an interception, right? When have you seen Quay make a play in the passing game in the flats, right? It does. And here's the thing. He has played in the flats because his first year, his rookie year, they had Devondre Campbell playing more in the middle. They've decided they want Quay and his athleticism in the middle now. So.
Is it fair to even ask the question, because we're a weekend, Clay? Like, this is ridiculous that we're sitting here going, this is how the defense is going to be, and this is how they're not going to be.
Every week.
We've talked about how, obviously in the chat, they're looking at kind of what you just talked about, how he's maybe more of a cover linebacker, and that's maybe his niche. That's more over the seam, over the middle type of stuff. But we also noticed last year that he had the ability, when we sent him on a rush, the guy was good. Like, he looked real good. Does it upset you whatsoever that I don't think that he had one single rush, pass rush?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Did he have one?
He had a couple. The problem.
Would you like to see more? I guess is my.
You know my answer. No, because I'm the boring fan that wants to get pressure before.
Right.
Again, last week, what did everybody say? We need a blitz. We need a zero blitz. Last year, what were we saying? Man coverage. Let me show you this. This is going to piss a lot of people off. But listen, you see it, you got to say it, okay? What did we want last year? What did everybody say all year long, Jacob? What the hell are we doing playing this zone defense, playing cushion?
Or man-to-man, don't we?
Man, we need bump the run. Look at this. Boom. Here you go, boys. Here's the numbers. We ran man coverage 35.9% of the time, okay? That was to the best of my knowledge, okay? That was in the upper half. Like, let's look real quick. Let's just see Colts here, okay? Oh, wait a second. That's the wrong graphic. I want to find it here. Zone to man ratio. They ran zone 84.8% of the time last week. The Colts did, okay? Now look at us. Packers, we ran zone only 63% of the time. We ran 35.5% of the time we ran man coverage. We gave up 34 points. 34. And explosives like it was Baghdad. That's the frustrating part, is like we all wanted this aggressive man coverage. Let's go, bump and run, bring the house. We go out there and play man coverage last week. And listen, we got the matchup. We got our number 1 all-world Jair Alexander against A.J. Brown. And he looked like Gordon Ramsay out there cooking. A.J. Brown torched him. And here's the thing. Even the best corners are going to get beat in one-on-one man coverage. He's not Darrelle Revis. We got to stop pretending like he is, first of all, right? He's not Darrelle Revis. He's not Richard Sherman in his prime, albeit Richard Sherman was playing cover 3 zone his entire.
He's not Ahmad Carroll,
Well, that was a all right there. So, again, it's going to come down each week what's specific to the opponent. That's what's going to come down. I want to get back to Quay, and let's end that real quick. With Quay, what I'm saying is his strength is pass coverage, specifically man-to-man or man-match principles. In that case, that seam, that wasn't just a spot drop, Tampa 2, I'm going to go cover deep down the middle. It was if the 2 goes vert or if the 3 goes vert, I'll carry him. It becomes man coverage. He stuck to him like glue. Last year, I remember a play specifically, I can't remember which team, where he covered a wheel route, and it was just stride for stride in the end zone, batted the ball down. It's like, that dude can cover. His weakness, he's not a gap destroyer. That's where you and Coach Lynn are right about Mike. The problem is his strength needs to be in the Mike and the nickel to be able to cover that seam on those calls. And if you do go man coverage, you're probably – now, here's the thing. Edgerrin Cooper might be better than him.
I was just going to ask. Is there –
it was 10 snaps. I've never been more convinced in 10 snaps in my life, Jacob. And I'm going to get roasted for it, and that's okay. I'm like –
No, you're not. No, you're not, because literally that's what I was wondering, and I believe Matt LaFleur had to field that question as well, and he was like, yeah, I don't honestly understand why that didn't happen. You could tell
that Matt was like, we took him out because he
blew an assignment, but then they said it wasn't really his fault.
But we got to
and then we realized it, but we got to get him back out there. Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, that to me, I don't know. That one answer kind of pissed me off a little bit, because it's like, you realize that he was making plays, you realize that he made one simple mistake, and then you punished him. Is that what I heard right now? Is that you punished him? You literally, and then he acknowledged the fact that he punished him and that he shouldn't have done that. That to me is like that's a coaching error. To me, that's a coaching error.
I didn't hear him say we shouldn't have done it, but boy, it sure felt like he shouldn't have done it.
I swear to God, if you watch that clip, he goes, "We should have, like, that can't happen."
He said we got to get him back out there. Is what he said.
Yeah, something along those lines, where he maybe insinuated, "I shouldn't be that strong." That's true. He was like, "It should have been. He should have been out there quicker," kind of thing. And once he was out there again, like I said, dude, our boy Edgerrin. I mean, my God, we thought he was going to be great, and he's another one of these guys where, holy crap, like, he's so good. Like, you talk about, dude, those 10 plays, bro.
I'm gonna come back to that comment, Coach Lynn. Reef, he said it was against Barclay Clayton on the wheel route. Specify what you're talking about, because if you're talking about the wheel route, that was McDuffie on the wheel route there. That was McDuffie that got burned on the wheel route. But I didn't see the earlier comment. Let's get back to Coach Lynn. Look for that for me, Jacob, when Reef comments on that.
Yep.
I just want to make sure I understand what he's saying there. Coach Lynn said, I agree, Clayton, but why in run fits is Cooper flashing more than Quay already? I think the answer is because Cooper's a better football player. But again, it's 10 snaps, and I'm going, Clayton, calm down. But, man, I'm telling you, that dude on the kick, we showed like 4 of those plays. The run fit in the A-gap, and Rashawn Gary need to get some love because he took on a double team, and he pushed the double team back, and bang, there come Edgerrin Cooper. When Edgerrin Cooper hits, he thumps, right? The kickoff, literally, you know the new kickoff rule. Literally cook the block, has the athleticism to get to the point to make the tackle, cooks another block, and makes the tackle. It was like, get this dude on the field. Another play, they blitzed them off the edge. Bro, Quay is fast. Don't get me wrong, Quay is fast. Edgerrin Cooper was like lightning coming off that edge, batted the ball down. Got to get him on the field. I think, personally, he's the linebacker of the future. I'm to the point with Quay, I don't know if they'll re-sign. Now, there's a lot of ball left. He could go on to be a great linebacker, right? Because he's just been in the league, 2 years now, right? This is his 3rd year. So he may flash by the end of the year. Next year, he's a stud. We got 2 stud linebackers. But what I'm seeing already with Coop, if Coop can get a grasp of the defense, fairly quick here and stay healthy, that's huge too with that hip. Bro, he's probably your linebacker of the future. That's a guy who's going to be able to cover down the seam. He's going to be able to be a gap destroyer. I almost said, I'm going to say it anyway, I'm going to get roasted. Like, that's Fred Warner looking stuff with the athleticism. Fred Warner's a beast.
No, that's
but Edgerrin Cooper, man.
Best linebacker in football, yeah.
We may get 30, 40 snaps out of Coop this week and him fall flat on his face. We got to acknowledge that. But out of the 10 we seen, dude looked good. He looked really good.
Looked amazing.
So, yeah. Let's see here. Did Reef ever – I just want to make sure I understood his comment there.
I don't think I saw that coming through.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Sorry. Shit.
Go ahead. Right here, Reef. Last year you said Quay guarded a wheel route. It was against – oh, okay, got you. So it was – you know what I'm talking about. The right sideline in the back corner of the end zone. So that was Barkley. Yeah, dude, that's what he's good at. It's almost like – and I don't want to say this, but, man, it's almost like he needs to be a safety. That is, I hate to say that.
The hybrid
Yes.
role that we.
But you know how that works. Every time a team does it, we got us a hybrid safety. They're out of the league in 3 years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Now, good pull there, Reed. I'm glad you knew exactly what play it was. That's why I wanted to ask and make sure. Somebody said something about my Irish in here. We got to hit that real quick. Where was that at? Because the Irish got cooked last week. Where's it at? I know it just they already delete the comment. Somebody get scared. Anyway, Notre Dame. Oh, here we go. Chuck Norris. Of course it was Chuck. Look at him, ready to fight. Clayton, how about them Irish? Haha, I wish they could have played like that last week. Hey, man, dude. Got beat by Northern Illinois last week, Jacob. I'm going, what's Purdue going to do to us this week? We come out and scored 50 points on them.
Look, man, I watched my Badgers come out and actually look like they were about to beat Alabama. And then as we're going down the field, our freaking awesome quarterback that we recruited just breaks his knee. And then still with the backup quarterback, we have literally like 7 areas where we could win the game or at least be tied. And we just pooped all over the bed. So whatever. Great to be Wisconsin. This is amazing, though. This is my favorite highlight. A.J. Brown is 210 pounds, at least. Freaking Bullard, 190, dripping, soaking wet with concrete shoes on. This dude leveled this guy.
My dad says 2 big sand rocks in his back pocket. Go ahead.
Put this guy, and then if I saw another clip, I didn't post it. I should have. He's been doing this for a while. He did this in college. That was his MO. Is he would literally, if you come across within 5 yards of him, he's gonna put you in the ground. He's gonna give you the Undertaker treatment. Boom, and AJ Brown looked like he did not want to get up, dude. That was like, do you remember? It was the best when Ocho Cinco went across on a slant and he goes, "I tried to block Ray Lewis."
Yeah,
and Ray
he said, "I tried, Ray."
He goes, "I don't know what I was doing. I lost. I don't know what the hell I was doing."
He was hurt. So what's crazy is I don't have that play that you were just talking about where he hit A.J. Brown. You guys can find it. If you just search Bullard, A.J. Brown, I guarantee you'll find it on Twitter. So think about that where he lays them out. And listen, Bullard didn't have a great game from PFF standpoint, but understand PFF is very consistent base. You blow 2 or 3 plays, you're going to have a horrible grade, right?
Yeah,
he done a lot of good things, I'm excited about his future. Now, I tweeted this out. I said, Green Bay Packers rookie safety Javon Bullard showcasing the football speed he had at Georgia here. Great communication with McKinney shifting from post to spur with the Y motion. Great closing speed and a sticky tackle. Watch this play, and I'm going to try to walk you guys through it. All right. So you see the 2 high shell. Oh, my God, is Joe Barry back, Jacob? What are we doing? We have 2 high shells. So notice the 2 high shell. They're in a dub set. They're in dub nasty, right? 2 by 2. Here's your Y right here. Okay, there's your Y. Unless they're in 12, I'm almost positive they're in 11, though.
Real quick, Clayton, somebody in the chat just a couple minutes ago asked, what makes it nasty? Can you explain that real quick?
What makes it what?
Nasty. What does that terminology mean with nasty?
Nasty simply means, you see the numbers here, guys, down the field, 30 to 20 to 10. Notice the 20 to 30 right here. All the receivers are inside. That's what they call condensed wide receiver splits. When you're inside the numbers, that's called nasty splits, okay? If they were outside the numbers, it's normal splits. If they're along the sideline, right along the chalk, they call those Baylor splits. So you got Baylor, norms, and nasty, okay? Sounds like a movie you watch on Cinemax after midnight, doesn't it? But anyway, that's what nasty splits means, okay? So here's your Y. You're in a shell look. This is your nickel 4-2-5, right? So you got your – I'm pretty sure this is nickel. It looks like it is. So here's your slot. That's probably key. You got Ja down here on the bottom, right? See how he's playing a little more press. You're playing off up here because you got a semi-stack look. So here's what you've got. Shell, right now, McKinney's got eyes on the Y. He's got eyes on the number 2, okay? Now watch the motion, okay? Ja backs off. Here's the motion. Look at McKinney point over to Bull. Look how quick Bull identifies it. Now Bull's coming up. Now they're going to almost like it's going to be a bunch set. Look how far away Bullard is. He's 15 yards away from the Y, and what they're running here is a bubble screen. He's just going to – a little bubble screen. These guys are going to block. You got a hat on a hat. The goal is to get this tight end hat on a hat right here, okay? Watch Bullard.
Wow.
Look at him pass Quay. Bang.
Do you see how he used his arm to literally
change
his direction to the point of where he's like, nope. It's almost like an air what am I trying to say? Like a fighter jet where he's like, dip the wing down. I'm going this way now. Like he's just going full bore.
And we talk about this a lot. You guys will hear me say, do we have a true 3 tech? Do we have a true 3 tech? This is what I mean by 3 tech. Look at this lineman right here in front of McDuffie. Okay. So you got 0 over the center, 2 over the guard. It would be 4 over the tackle. He's splitting the guard and the tackle. That's what you call a 3. Now, some would say it might be a 2-eye. I would disagree. That's a 3 tech. That's what we mean by you've got to have top tier play from your 3 tech. Okay. This is your disruptor on the inside, and it's going to force double teams at times and free up these outside guys to make a play. So you got a 3 tech, a 1 tech. This is your 1 right here, or playing what they call shade, kind of on the inside half of the center. All right. And then you got your wide looks out here. So again, you'll see the Y motion. Everybody shifts over. There's McKinney. See McKinney talking to Bullard. Great communication. And watch how quick he gets out here on this ball. Look at Bullard. Bang.
Yeah, dude. That
telling you,
know, but honestly, that's team swarm right there. Did you see? I think Barre, a lot of the safeties, everybody flowed. Like even Bullard did great, and the DBs did great. But look at that. There's what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys coming in there.
Yep, 5. Yep.
That's
and
I
again,
love that.
and what's crazy is like watch Quay here, and this is a good example. Notice here, Quay's actually playing Will, guys. Look, he's playing Will right now. And Coach Hafley talked about this whole conversation we just had about this. Coach Haff talked about this. The Will and the Mike have to be interchangeable, right? In this specific play call, we don't know what the play call was traditionally, but when the Y shifts over, they might have changed something up. You see them kind of shift now. All right, see if McDuffie fires. He did. So they're just both playing back. They're kind of playing that double rat. But look at Quay. There's a little hesitation there. And dude, look at Bullard, like, get out of the way, dude. Let's go back.
That is kind of awesome. Can you rewind that real quick? Because you'll watch the front set of the line goes left. Obviously, McDuffie goes left, but you watch McKinney shoulder over, and he goes, watch. And then all of a sudden, the defense sets to the right. Like, that's beautiful, man.
Yep.
That's cool to watch.
This is what they talked about in camp when they said, depending on what the offense does, that's going to determine. Basically, it was Evan Williams that got scolded by Matt LaFleur because Matt LaFleur said, Evan's giving our secrets away. Evan said, McKinney has full control over which safety goes down. When you hear me say spur, what I mean by spur, guys, is this. You got post safety, spur safety. This is going to end up being a cover 1, okay? If the Y stayed over here, Bullard was going to be your deep, your post safety, and your spur was going to be our boy McKinney. If you're in cover 1, then that could be man coverage. That's what I would refer to as a spur because he's going to be playing man up on the 2, that number 2 receiver here, which is the tight end. But if you played robber, then it means the linebacker would have man coverage on the tight end, and this safety would rotate down and cover a middle zone, okay? If you're playing cover 1 hole, one of the linebackers would drop back and cover that middle zone, and one of the safeties would be in man coverage. But in this specific situation, he was supposed to be the spur. You see him creeping down, and this was going to be your post safety. Once the shift happens, McKinney says, okay, I'm going post now. You're going spur. And Javon there's just no hesitation. Watch Javon. He's like, bubble. Oh, this is mine right here, baby.
Wow.
Bang. I could watch that all night. And that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, he had a low PFF grade. Yes, he made some mistakes. But when you look at the positives, the dude played post and he played spur. He's very, very versatile in that. And his tackle ability. When did you see Darnell Savage make that play? I'll wait.
And to be fair, we don't know how good this Eagles offense could be. We could have just went against one of the best offense. I mean, I know for sure that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, freaking Jahan Dotson, you add in Saquon Barkley. That's a great team. That may be. We may just because, I was one of them that doubted and said that the Eagles are crap because of what they did last year. They had the best offense starting that year, and they just fell off a cliff. They did adjust and made some changes, and they came out and they played like a great offense. There's a reason they were ranked ahead of us in offensive and just overall power rankings. The fact that we were toe-to-toe with them basically through the whole game without having our starting quarterback and missing key plays, I think is something we should talk about. And if I'm not mistaken, Clay, are we not like 3rd overall in total yardage for offense?
Oh, dude, we got a legit top 10 offense, no doubt.
Okay.
The problem is the scoring aspect of our defense is in the tank. We're like bottom 3 in the league. But our rush defense, top 10. right? So it's like you just got to, again, it's early and they got to get everything together, right? They got to kind of get everything, you got to sort through this stuff as quick as possible. And again, you had unscouted looks on the Eagles too. You got to take that in consideration.
Right.
Brand new OC. You don't know what they're going to do with that personnel. Brand new DC. It was completely. That's why I said if this game's happening in Week 5, I'm probably putting my money on the Packers over the Eagles because LaFleur is a hell of a scheme coach, but he had nothing to scheme. There was nothing he could scheme. He's looking at a little bit. They said that earlier in the week. They're looking at a little bit of Miami tape because Fangio was down there. They were looking a little bit of Chargers tape because Kellen Moore was out there. But I do want to say this. We were talking McKinney real quick. PFF, Green Bay Packers tweeted this out. Said Xavier McKinney in his Packers debut, 76.3 PFF grade, 39 coverage snaps. In 39 coverage snaps, he only allowed 8 receiving yards, and he had an interception. I'm telling you, dude, that McKinney is a dog. He stays healthy. We got us a post, and not just a post safety, but someone who could come down and play that spur, can play robber, can do all those things. You can get him a spot QB if you want. He can play man coverage. He does it all, man. He's a hell of a player. I think he's a great leader too. So I'm excited to see what he does moving forward. All right, so just wanted to hit on that real quick. I've got some stuff keyed up, geared around the Colts, but I think I'm going to hold it over to tomorrow. So let's hit these comments that you had marked here earlier, Jacob. Prince in the chat says Melton would be a pretty solid fill-in for Reed. It's nice to be loaded at receiver. It's a great point. I think personally, think back to Christian Watson's rookie year, and we used him in the F a lot with that motion, that jet motion. I think he would become the jet motion guy, and Bo Melton would replace Christian Watson in that vertical threat because he's actually faster than Christian Watson, believe it or not. But I understand what you're saying. You could use Melton on some of those too. I'll tell you, if you guys play Madden, I'm going to give you a little secret, and this obviously doesn't translate over to real ball in real life. It's a video game. Try Bo Melton at kick return. Boy, let me tell you, he's way better than Keyshawn on the game of kick return. 2-0 for this says, Jacob, where are you watching the game tomorrow? I looked up the coverage map, and we are literally in a middle finger of non-Packers coverage.
Yeah, the only reason I highlighted that comment is because it just is the epitome of my life. I try to just not have to go integrate with the Minnesotans or, leave my house to watch a game. And unfortunately, it probably will be the case again that even though I pay taxes in Wisconsin and I've been here for 37 years, apparently I don't deserve to watch my home team. So I might have to make some weird concessions to go and watch my Packers tomorrow, or I'll have to raid the internet. Wink, wink.
There you go. And we'll just leave it at that, right?
Yep.
I seen people asking earlier. I'm like, I'm not allowed to touch that, guys. You talk amongst yourselves. So Nova in the chat said, biggest break. Let's see. Biggest break, Mike W. said, who's Mike W.? Mike Wall, maybe? Probably Mike Wall. Said was DeForest Buckner possibly not playing. Absolute gorilla on the line at 6.7 inches, 10-foot arms. LOL. Good break. Also, they are very scheme disciplined, man. That pick stunt they run, we talked about it earlier in the week. DeForest Buckner is that Tuesday guy on defense. There's no two ways about it. And again, if you guys are wondering what's he talking about, he may not play. This is what he's referring to. DeForest Buckner did not participate all week. He was listed as questionable. So if one of those two guys, Buckner or Quiddy Pay, doesn't play, boys, I'm telling you, our chances, they get a little bit better. They really do.
Well, I don't know if y'all covered it, but the safety's not playing either. Which
right, yeah, Julian Blackman, yeah.
That's a big one right there, especially if you got a rookie or slash
Watch
backup.
Malik Willis come out and throw for 400 yards. I'd laugh my ass.
Oh God, please, just please, please.
After everybody's like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" That would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
But that's what you get on this show, man. We're always positive. Coach Lynn says, I agree, Clayton, but when in run fits, is Cooper flashing more than Quay? We hit that one earlier. He is, no doubt about it. Omer says Jair was top paid corner for the past 3 years until a week ago. He hasn't earned that check in 3 years. Now, Omer said he wants a refund, boys. What he said. I can't disagree. Nova said, watching all of Cooper's 12 snaps, Coach, Cooper guessed well. He also missed his gap a number of times. Overall, great snaps, but he did fail a bunch as well. Cooper is lightning, and that was maybe went on that other comment we had just a second ago. The thing about Cooper, you can coach up that gap discipline. The problem with when you hear me talk about it's Quay's gap approach in defense that they show, he's too hesitant. He's very just kind of, am I sure? Am I not sure? If you're going to make a mistake, as Coach D'Amato said on any given Sunday, you're going to make a mistake, make it big. I don't give up. Bleep. He says, right? I'm not going to eat your lunch for that. That's what Coach D'Amato said. So that's what I like about Cooper. Cooper does not play with any hesitation at all. None. No doubt about that. And then Chris C said, "Bullets hit on Brown is still my favorite takeaway." Man, it was a thing of beauty. Let me go see if I'm gonna go see if I can find
Clayton, you're pulling Emilio. You're texting me while we're midstream.
Absolutely, man. That's how I wrote. Don't you dare mention what was text either, sir.
I'm not saying nothing.
Let's see here. Say something smart. Hit the chat real quick. Let me go find that AJ Brown.
Oh, bro, I don't have nothing smart to say. What I will say though is that do you guys feel that there is any hesitancy there with we talked about Keyshawn Nixon being possible, what I want to say, liability in our defense? Did anybody see that in the game? I want to see it in the chat. Did Keyshawn Nixon, whether in it was his return game or was it with him being in the corner, what was your opinions of him? Because honestly, I have not heard any opinions of that. I believe he had a decent game statistically, if that's not mistaken.
Keyshawn played great.
He played great, right?
He played good. And
okay,
when you turn on the tape and you watch it, you go, all right, Key, I see it. You look at PFF and he goes, okay, pretty decent grade. Coach Hafley at the presser, Keyshawn played outstanding. I tell you somebody else who did too, Jacob. Stokes looked good.
Yeah.
Now, they weren't covering A.J. Brown, but right. Devonta Smith was out there to the best of my knowledge. He played a significant amount of snaps. So here's that. We got to be real quick with it. I don't want to get hit with anything here, but
oh boy,
here you go, boys. Bang.
Look at him too. Oh,
yeah. Watch him stand over him. He's like,
"Why'd you do that? You think I didn't know this?"
He said, I'm from Georgia, bub. I'm a dog."
And if you watch the end of that, which we won't, because we respect, he walks off, and dude, that guy is humping, bro. He is. Oh no, what just happened?
Yeah, it took a minute. He had to gather his. He had to swallow his spleen back down. Got packed up a lung there. But yeah. Chris C in the chat. Man, that makes my junk tingle. There you go. All right. The show officially sucks. All right. We've reached that point of the night. But Jacob, you got anything else you want to hit on before we go, man? We covered a lot, dude.
I guess what we would wonder is what is the schedule for tomorrow? What can we expect as Packer fans and PTA fans, Clayton?
So here's what we're going to do. We're not going to do a morning show, but we're going to do a pregame show. And I think what we'll probably do, the game kicks off at 12 Central, right, Jacob? Let me pull it up here. I always ask if I get the schedule. Right.
I'm gonna have to go to freaking B-dubs again, or like I said, just be a patron. That's all I'll do. I'll just pay.
All right. So this is what we got. Colts 12 p.m. kickoff, right? So the game will start at 12 Central. Why don't we go live at like 10:30 a.m. Central Time? We'll do an hour and a half pregame show because I've got a bunch of information we didn't have time to hit tonight. We'll hit that tomorrow. And we'll also bring you guys live updates from the stadium, anybody who's active, inactive, any surprises there, all that good stuff. Something I want to get in the habit of doing, too, in those pregame shows is weather forecasts. I think that'd be cool. Like, all right, here's what to expect at Lambeau today, that type of thing. So, but, yeah, we'll be going live, let's say 10:30 a.m. Central, okay? And then as soon as the game's over, we'll take you up to kickoff. And then as soon as the game's over, immediately following it, we'll go live for the postgame show. So,
do you know what I think it's great about our podcast? And it's not always great to self-promote, but we didn't once buy into does Jordan love start or doesn't he? Like we
covered it, but
earlier. But yeah, I'm just saying it's just if you see people trying to do that kind of stuff, I would just say, just like with anything where if it's clickbaity, understand there's probably a reason for that. I mean, I don't know. I would like to, again, just humble brag that we don't try to do that here. We try to at least just be real with you guys and let you know what's going on and what the reasonable expectation is going forward. So I very much believe Malik Willis is going to play this game, obviously. And we'll go from there. But we're not going to give you guys ever false hopes. That's right. What my point is.
And again, we're also going to say that there still is a slight chance that he plays.
Snowball's chance.
If he wakes up in the morning and he hits up Matt and says, "Hey, dude, I feel great, no pain," that ain't going to happen. But if he does, Matt would probably go, "All right, let's suit it up." But the fact that they already elevated, again, that was kind of the news of the day. Once they elevated Sean Clifford, now you're missing out on that roster spot. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine they're going to have 3 quarterbacks active. Maybe they will. But I hope we don't have to see Sean Clifford. I hope Malik Willis, for his sake, goes out there and just absolutely balls out. And here's the thing, too. Malik is here for probably 2 years if he plays good ball. And when I say 2 years, that's how long his contract is that we've got rights to now. And if he goes out and balls out tomorrow, and then we keep hearing reports throughout the year that, hey, man, he's picked up on the offense, he's doing good, what you got there is trade bait. And guess what? You got Sean Clifford on the practice squad that can be reset to a futures contract, which gives you rights at least 2 years. I think there might be 4 involved with restricted rights and things like that. Your backup's still set, and you might be able to flip a 7th-round pick into something. I just want Malik to do well because everything I've heard within the draft community, and when I say heard, I'm not having conversations with people like this, but anyone who's said anything personal about Malik Willis, they say this dude is just the nicest guy, stand up, respectful kid. Like, I want him to go out there and he has an opportunity tomorrow to put on tape a reason for another team to sign him and potentially give him, an extend his NFL career moving forward, right? So that could happen. Yep. I think that's awesome. So, all right. I see it. Thank you, A-Fam. Appreciate you, bub. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Like I said, 10:30 a.m. Central Time. We'll be going live for the PTA pregame show. You'll have the link created here shortly. As soon as we get off here, I'll go ahead and create that, and y'all will have that. I may go ahead and tweet it out, too, and pin it. That way anybody on Twitter will have it early, too. So look forward to hanging out with y'all in the morning. Get a little pregame festivity going as far as some food, that type of thing, and sit around and grub and, get ready for kickoff. So, Jacob, it's good to have you in here, bub. Hope you're doing well. Everybody, thank you all for hanging out. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. Make sure you don't cut your hair like this, okay? Whatever you do. And as always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And
bon dia.
Go Pack, go.